Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
A wonderful welcome to you to Fusion Mobile e-learning series. I am Sheriff Olaita and I am your civic education tutor. Today, of course, we are going to be talking about traffic regulations. And of course, under which we shall be considering the meaning of traffic regulations, the traffic signs, the regulatory signs, the prohibitive signs, the mandatory signs, the informative signs, the stop signs, the warning signs, the giveaway signs, and then we are going to be talking about the traffic lights and then the vehicle lights. First, let's discuss what we mean by traffic regulations. These are the rules that guide and direct the movement of vehicles and other road users along the roads or streets. Traffic regulations are laws that concern how motorists and other road users should move on the road and what they may or may not do while using the road. It could still be defined as a necessary guideline for all road users given by the government in order to ensure their safety and the smooth flow of traffic. This means that obeying the traffic rules and regulations will help the road users to develop and maintain a good road safety culture, which will reduce road accidents to the barest minimum. Of course, let's begin by introducing ourselves to certain familiar things that we must have seen on the road, on our streets, on the expressway, and so on and so forth. Of course, you reach some point, you see traffic lights, you see some certain vehicles or motorists moving, and you see some stagnant, waiting for the traffic light to give another signal before they move. Of course, those that are moving are being binded by certain traffic regulations, and those that are stagnant, waiting for the next sign for them to move, are still being binded by certain traffic rules. These rules are what we bring together to call traffic regulations. Of course, you will realize that in Nigerian roads or on Nigerian roads, vehicles are moved or vehicles are driven from the left angle, from the left hand side. That is, the driver's corner or driver's seat is always situated on the left side. Of course, in other countries of the world, some other countries of the world, such as the United States of America, they drive from their right. Now, this is what we are talking about. Certain things that you have to agree to, that you have to obey to, that you have to abide by, that you have to ensure that you carry out when you become a road user, whether as a motorist, whether as a pedestrian, perhaps you're driving trailer, you're driving a car, you're driving a commercial bus, or a private bus, you're driving a luxury bus, or you're driving a taxi, or even keke operators on the road. Certain rules that they have to abide by to avoid being arrested or being prosecuted by the law enforcement agents are those that we call traffic regulations. The road users are motorists, pedestrians, children, hawkers, cyclists, passengers, and animals. Every road user should be conscious of the fact that others have a right to use the road, and so must be careful and considerate while using the road. That brings us to traffic signs. Traffic signs are road signs, symbols, signals, and markings that are seen on the roads, which give information, direction, and warnings to drivers and other road users on how to use the road to ensure a smooth and safe traffic flow. There are signs placed at the side of the roads to impart information or pass information on to motorists and other road users. Since language differences can create barriers to understanding spoken words, international signs using symbols in place of words have been developed and are in use in many countries of the world. Traffic signs tells you about the traffic regulations, special hazards, and other road conditions. They are of different types, with special shapes and colors. The shapes and colors of these road signs tell you the types, which could be any of the following. Of course, what do we mean by traffic signs? These images are certain signs, symbols that you may find while making use of the road. Some of them, most of them, or all of them are there to pass information to you. The reason why these signs are being used is because they are easy to be spotted on the road. 1, they are easily understood. 2, thirdly, because of language differences. Imagine if I have to write with every language of the world because of the diverse language or differences in languages that people speak. If I have to write in Igbo that, okay, there is a diversion on the road, I have to say that in Igbo, write that in Igbo, I have to write that in Yoruba, I have to write that in Hausa, I have to write that in Efik, in Ibibio, in Hurobo, in Tiv, in so many languages. I have to write it in English, I have to write it in French, in Indian, Chinese, in German, in Italian, and so on and so forth. Before myself, as a speaker of English, will be able to spot where the English translation of the writing is. Perhaps I might have violated the rule that they are trying to pass the information to me. Of course, this is why these signs are being formulated. This is why these signs have been designed, and they came up with them, and they are being used internationally. Therefore, if a German comes to Nigeria, despite the fact that they cannot speak English, once they see this sign, they can understand that it means there is a diversion on the road, or there is a bump very close, or 100 meters to the next filling station, or 10 meters to a zebra crossing, and so on and so forth. Now, these traffic signs come in these traffic signs come in different forms. We have the regulatory signs, we have the prohibitive signs, we have the mandatory signs, we have the information signs, we have the stop signs, we have the warning signs, and we have the giveaway signs. Just as you can see them on the board. Regulatory signs. These are most circular in shapes, and they are of two types. Those with red and yellow and circular in shape are prohibitive signs. They tell us what we ought not to do. Then we have prohibitive signs. These are signs that tell you what not to do, what you are not supposed to do at all. We also have the mandatory signs. They are those with blue circle but with red borders. The mandatory signs are those with blue circle but without red borders. They give positive instructions like the ones that I am going to show to you now. Those are mandatory signs. Those signs are going to pop on your screen, and you should carefully take note of them and get familiar with them. We have the informative signs. These are usually rectangular in shapes and provide guidance information. Some of them are to tell you that perhaps there is a first aid station very close, there is an hospital 100 meters away, there is a mechanical help very close, there is a vulcanizer 10 meters away, there is a filling station 200 meters away. This route leads to Mina, and so on and so forth. There is a construction zone very close. There is Kaduna Road very close. There is a motor park. That what these signs carry out. And of course, warning signs. They are usually triangular in shape with red perimeter. Examples are those that I am going to show you now. Now, let's discuss traffic lights. There are special lights found at most road junctions and crossings that help to direct, control, and ensure smooth traffic and flow through the display of colors. They have majorly 3 colors: the red color, the yellow color, and the green color. Of course, for those of us that live within the city, you must have seen some of these traffic lights that are fixed on poles. And for those of us that are not very familiar, of course, during our primary school days, we should remember this song, this poem, which goes, traffic light, red means stop, yellow means ready, green means go, and you must run. Of course, as I am reciting that poem, you are trying to remember and recall. So, the red color, when it shows, it means do not cross or go. You have to stop. This sign may be directed to people coming from the left, from the right, from the intersection, or from any angle. Both drivers, cyclists, pedestrians, and everyone that is involved that this signal speaks to or is directed to are supposed to apply or comply with the message being passed across with the red color. So basically, the red color means stop, do not move, do not go. When you see the yellow color, it flashes or it just shows. The yellow color may be flashing at you, or it just shows once, then goes off. It's telling you you should get ready to move or cross. Now when you see the green color, it tells you nothing else other than to go, move, and then you move swiftly. Of course, we have the vehicle lights too. There are different types of vehicle lights, and they include the amber lights. These are lights, hazard lights, and they are used by hazardous vehicles. For instance, a car that got spoiled on the road, is expected to on its amber light. That is, when a car gets spoiled on the main road, the driver of that car is expected to on the amber light to indicate that this car is stagnant or not moving, or moving slowly. Of course, we have the blue lights, which are used by volunteer firefighters. When you see such lights, your right is to give way to such vehicles because they are perhaps in emergency situations, or they are trying to pass a signal to you that there is an emergency somewhere. Then we have the red flashing and the rotating lights. They are used majorly by emergency vehicles and sirens, such as fire trucks, ambulance, police vans, and so on and so forth. Of course, those are what we have to take in this series of traffic regulations. Next is going to be the second part of this topic. But before we go to the second part, I want you to quickly consider attempting the question on your screen right now. Provide adequate answers to them, and if you have any difficulty doing so, kindly review or rewind your video and take another view. Thank you very much for watching.